Whose house? What was that? Where's the offense? Why did you do that? When is the rematch? How will the Packers respond when the greatest quarterback debate goes primetime next on your Packers Fan Podcast?
Hey, Packers fans, this is your unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, and these are the podcasters you're looking for. One of these guys has been to the birthplace of Curly Lambeau, and the other guy, well, he has too. And now it's time to go, Pack, go, with your hosts, Wayne Henderson and Troy Heinritz.
So good to be with you on your Packers Fan Podcast, the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. And I'm at Wayne Henderson coming at you for this 166th episode, recorded October 30th, 2018. And I'm the Packers fanatic who still truly believes in his green and gold heart that the Packers are able to win every remaining game this season.
And they're going to need to. And glad to be joining you straight off the plane from Green Bay, California. I am at Troy Heinritz, who always does what he is told when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. Boy, do we have a lot to cover this evening, including recapping our experience from our trip to Los Angeles, or as we like to jokingly call it, Green Bay, California. We also play another round of Were the Refs Right? Changing of the guard as the trade deadline came and went today, and of course the latest in our NFC North roundup.
And we're going to go over the latest injury reports coming out of Los Angeles. We'll have our preview of the Packers at Patriots matchup, including Troy's keys to victory over the baby goat, and the results from this week's Twitter and Facebook poll, and of course your G-Force feedback from 920-3PACK-GO and from email.
Links or articles we reference in this episode can be found on our website. That's PackersFanPodcast.com, and then add a /166 on the end for this 166th episode, where we talk about, holy crap, man, 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. Nobody saw that coming.
It was fabulous, especially because there were also Packers fans everywhere.
Everywhere. I went to the bathroom and I really thought I was expecting G-Force signs to be outside the bathroom when I came out.
Except for the fact that it felt like you traveled back in time 50 years as far as the stadium facilities go.
Maybe more like 150 years.
Yeah, because it really makes you appreciate Lambeau Field. But at the same time, about half of everybody there, and there was a lot of dang people there, were wearing green and gold. In fact, there's an Orange County Register, that's the local newspaper here in Orange County, and they did a great article regarding the fact that even the Rams were just a wee bit surprised at the number of Packers fans chanting "Go Pack Go" throughout the entire game. And I just like how the article starts. And we'll, of course, link to it in our show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com/166. But it says the Coliseum rocked Sunday afternoon with a crowd ferocity not heard for a decade since USC challenged for the national championship. Here's the problem. The team from Green Bay got the support.
I love it. And we were part of that support. And let me tell you, this was a fantastic day to be a Green Bay Packer fan until the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, really. The final 2 minutes, it's like watching a show for 4 years and the grand finale is like...
They did what?
Battlestar Galactica.
Bobby in the shower? Sopranos cut to black?
JR shot who? What? But I do have a question that I didn't get to ask you before you had to move on to your other activities after the game. During the game, Troy, would you say that I was too loud?
You were not loud enough because I was yelling, "Take a knee! Take a knee! Don't run it out!"
Yeah, that was wild, man.
Insane.
But
insane.
Before we dig into the actual game, I did want to mention just a bit more about the crowd. We got to meet Packers Fan Podcast listener and Facebook community member Jay Walter prior to kickoff, so that was a pleasure. Thanks for coming over from Section 1, Jay. Also, the Steve Tate was right in front of us. Dave Lucero and Senior Cheesehead and the rest of the SoCal Packer backers were a bit to our right, and of course, about 35,000 Packers fans all around us.
And the funny thing is that I've had the gold package tickets for quite a while. So I've seen Steve, the owner, Tate, as he's known, at many, many Packer games. I've seen him on TV, seen him at the stadium, but I've never been able to actually run into him. And then, sure enough, Steve, the owner, Tate, sits down right in front of us.
Cheesehead and all.
You have to travel across the country to meet people that are in your backyard. I find this hysterical.
It's the magic of Packer fandom.
But it was great. Yeah, Senior Cheesehead was there. Dave Lucero, who got all the tickets and supported everything. These guys are really, really a fantastic bunch of people. So make sure you go check them out. I believe they are the facebook.com/SoCal Packer Backers. That's SOCAL Packer Backers. They're also on Instagram, instagram.com/SoCal Packer Backers. And if you're following them on Twitter, it is at SC Packer Backers. So we'll go ahead and link to all of their places that you can go to, including their website in the show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com/166, because I am sure Andre in LA wants to make sure he hooks up with Dave Lucero and Senior Cheesehead in the future for when the Packers come to town, potentially next year for the Chargers game. Now, there is talk about the fact that because of the whole stadium thing and the PSL licenses, and people are pissed off about Chargers charging less than what the Rams are charging, et cetera, that the Chargers-Packers game might be a London contest.
Really?
So that is rumor. That is rumor. I'm not, I don't like to start rumors or anything, but there was talk amongst the SoCal Packer backers that they might get, gypped out of that game next year, because they're talking about maybe that's the one that goes to London for the Packers fans.
I have a feeling that the Chargers may want to move it to London, because after they saw what happened to the Rams, who are currently undefeated, and the Chargers play in a smaller stadium up the street in Carson, that it could be well over 50% Packers fans. It's going to be awesome. So if it does not get moved to London, make plans to come to Southern California sometime next fall and join thousands of green and gold friends.
And as soon as Dave puts those tickets up for sale, if we do happen to be there for the San Diego game in LA, we'll make sure that we retweet that out on our side too, to get most of you to show up. And then hopefully we can all go to the SoCal Packer tailgate that they have, because Mark Murphy actually stopped by for the SoCal Packer Backer tailgate, which is pretty awesome.
Thank you, Mark, for coming and joining the SoCal Packer Backers. That was fantastic. And if it does get flexed to London next year, I do have a passport. I just need the money, and I will bring my green and gold with me.
I will find a way to get work to pay for that, because I'll have to go to a trip to the London office, maybe.
I think, that makes sense.
All in all, really a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for letting me come out there. I know the first game Wayne and I went to was back in 2012 against the Bears. So this was a fun time to go out to LA and see the Packers on the road and almost pull a victory off, which I think gives us good promise for the future, because if we can hang with the Rams, we can hang with anybody.
Absolutely. Like I said last week, we are nobody's underdog, and Patriots better watch out, but more on that later. One thing that was one of the greatest surprises on the field was Jair Alexander.
Oh my gosh. Dude does not need a fly swatter, because he bats stuff away left and right. Anything that comes near him, he's like, you knock this down, I knock this down. Hoya, hoya, karate chop. He's all over the field. He's amazing.
I am so happy that we drafted him. Great job, Jair. We appreciate each and every one of those defensive stops you helped make.
And those were legit pass defendants. I think he had 5 on the game, and those are not like, hand in the back pocket, pulling on a jersey. They were legit stops. He's like Superman flying through the air and gets to the ball just at the nick of time.
And I would love to see more of that next Sunday night on NBC.
Yeah, especially because the secondary is a little bit depleted. But we'll get to the trades in just a bit, because, oh man, Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. Who would have thunk it?
Me. I'm hoping against hope for all sorts of great things, but it was fantastic that at least for a while we were legitimately running the ball.
Yeah, I thought it was fun too to see Jamal Williams come in on that first touchdown, and then he's like got the blue Rams colors all on his back of his jersey, the way he came in across the line to get that touchdown. I thought that was fun to get the little smear on the jersey there. But nothing beats. I was a little disappointed, I have to say, because it was the end of the third quarter. We were on the, I guess what would be the west end zone, I guess would be the best way to put it, Wayne. And they were
eastish with the sun in our face.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I keep doing that because the water is on the west and because Lake Michigan is, east of us. I get it flipped around. Midwest problems.
Understandable.
Yes. So we were on the east end zone and the Packers were going towards the west end zone at the end of the third quarter. So when we had Aaron Jones rip off that 30-yarder, unfortunately he ran in the wrong direction from us, but still got the touchdown, which is a good thing.
Yeah, the right direction as far as the Packers were concerned, the wrong direction as far as us being able to really see it up close without looking at the big board. And yeah, the smears that he got on the back of his jersey, mostly Rams colors, but also some USC colors because they played the day before. And I don't know why the Rams couldn't use maybe an extra coat of paint to try to cover up the USC logo to add their logo in the end zone in center field because it just looks sloppy.
Well, on the 50, they didn't even cover it up all the way. You can still see the red logo bleeding out from the bottom.
An extra coat or two would have been helpful, but oh well. Rams problems.
Whose house? Trojan's house.
Go Pack Go's house.
But it was fun. It was a really, really good time. And the defense, oh my gosh, the defense, were they not amazing in the first and fourth quarters coming up with those stops? Middle of the road, a little bit still kind of lackluster. Didn't kind of keep it going for all four quarters. Gave up 29 points, which really could have been 36. I know Vegas and the fantasy football players are pretty pissed off about that. And they did give up over 400 yards of offense. So is this a playoff deep defense? It's got possibilities. I'm excited. I think we're doing the right things. I think we just need to move a little bit more in the complete game aspect. And of course, that comes with probably a little bit of heat and exhaustion there in LA. So most of the games I think we have on the schedule the rest of the way will be in normal football conditions.
Yes, and thank goodness. We did have a bit of a heat wave over the weekend. Temps went up about 10 or 15 degrees higher than the rest of the week. I mean, today's high was only 70, so it's already like 24 degrees cooler than when your plane landed on Saturday afternoon.
Oh my gosh, it was like beautiful. It was like 78 on Sunday. It was gorgeous. Little breeze was blowing, some cloud cover. I thought it was a perfect game. It was actually cooler in LA than it was for that game I was at for the Vikings where there was no water and no ice.
Unbelievable.
But surprisingly, even though we were there in California, there was also still no water, no beer, and no ice.
Well, they way oversold that stadium. So by the beginning of the third quarter, things started disappearing. I went up to a water stand at the end of halftime, and the lady said, we have just 3 waters left. And the guy next to me is like, I'll take all 3. And I'm like, I just want 1. So I got to buy one of his 3. He suffered with 2, but yeah, we made it. We made it out alive.
But we had some amazing orange mules. So like Moscow mules, but with orange, vodka and orange additives from the great oranges there in California. So yeah. Super tasty.
We love to put oranges in all sorts of things. Oranges and or guacamole, but usually not the two together.
Now, for those that have not had a chance to go to LA and see the action outside the arena, I mean, this was just a crazy, crazy town of all the people that are there where you got to park and walk and all this other stuff. I mean, 20,000 steps by the course of the time the day was over.
It was wild.
I think this is the most entertaining thing, I think, for me. Like, I've seen tailgate situations at Lambeau Field, at County Stadium, and Wisconsin's known for its tailgating. But here we have on the side of the road these street vendors. Mm-hmm. And the street vendors have what look like to be, the best way to describe it is a mailroom cart. Or maybe it's a cart you would see if you've ever worked in like in a kitchen or in a dish room, where it's just like a cart where you can put the dishes in and out and your hot pans in and out and that kind of thing. Well, they have like their food on the bottom, not refrigerated. And then they have another section for their vegetables. And then there's like a little tiny area where they have this like blowtorch device. And they're literally heating up a giant metal cafeteria style cookie sheet. And on that cookie sheet, they're cooking peppers and onions and hot dogs and bacon. And the food smells absolutely amazing. But then you just sit there and you go, I just don't know if that's like a health safety approved thing.
It is a Los Angeles big sporting event tradition. And yeah, all around the stadium going into the game and then even more of them after the game. I would say, if I had to guess, there was probably at least 40 or 50 of those carts spread around just cooking up those bacon wrapped hot dogs, giant hot dogs and all that good stuff. And yeah, selling, drinks and what have you.
And the food is flying off of these things like it's
people
going out of
know.
style.
we know that those things are going to be there for us.
And I'm just looking at it going like, there's no way you're going to squirt that mayonnaise on my hot dog when it's been sitting in the 78 degree sun with no ice bath or refrigeration. There's just no way.
Details.
Maybe us Midwesterners have some, I don't know. It's just weird. But it was great. It made everything smell great around the stadium, though. That's for sure.
And we got to park on the campus of USC, technically.
Yes, so I can now say that I've been on the USC campus officially. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you had extra time after the game, you were going to go to math class, just like old times.
I was, but instead I went to the bathroom and counted my blessings there instead of in classroom.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, but there were some lowlights from the game. Of course, the ugly punt towards the end of the game gave him good field position to be able to go ahead with that last field goal. The safety, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, to me, I put two receivers out wide, have Aaron Jones, and then fake the handoff to Aaron Jones because everybody's assuming you're going to run it out and then be able to dump it off. Maybe even get the 99-yard touchdown, like a Brett Favre kind of touchdown situation. That's what I was kind of hoping for. Sadly, they only had one wide receiver in that lineup when that safety happened, so I scratched my head at that call. That's on McCarthy, not so much on Aaron Jones. And then, of course, the big controversy of the day. You've probably seen the news at this point. I don't know how much we need to rehash it, but basically, Ty Montgomery was pulled from the game at one point, threw a little bit of temper tantrum on the sideline, chucked his helmet, really wasn't focused and everything. And then when they finally said, "Hey, Ty, you got to go return this kickoff. We got 2 minutes, 5 seconds left. 12 is going to get us the field goal to win the game. Just catch the ball and kneel down. Catch the ball and kneel down." The coaches told him to catch the ball and kneel down. So Ty Montgomery goes out there, standing not 5 yards deep in the end zone, and I got the picture to prove it from the Game Pass if you want to see it. But he literally has 2 yards, I would say, of blue in front of him where he could have legitimately kneeled down and gotten the touchback, saved the time on the clock. 1 timeout remaining, 2-minute warning. Aaron Rodgers has done it with 38 seconds on the clock and got a touchdown. We only needed a field goal. So not to say that we would have won the game specifically because there was some stuff in the second quarter where the offense was kind of sluggish and wasn't making it move. But at the same time, Ty just took it on himself to disobey the coaches. And because of that, he gone.
Yeah, I can't believe that the trade deadline has come and gone. I actually thought there were going to be a lot more trades coming and going, not just with the Packers, but with all the teams. But I guess Ty Montgomery is going to the Ravens.
Yes, rumor is a 7th round pick in 2020, otherwise known as it's basically as good as dropping him on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I mean, the 7th round pick, that's late, but I guess we're going to stock him up. Maybe we can trade some of these 6th and 7th round picks and parlay them into one 4th or 5th round. Yeah. Gutekunst. He's working magic.
He is. Packers say it's undisclosed in the transaction thing, but yeah, we saw on Twitter, it looked like it was a 7th round in 2020. And then Clinton Dix was a talk even before the game about maybe getting shuffled around, and he ended up today going to the Redskins. Rumor there is a 4th round pick in 2019, although the Packers again say it was an undisclosed pick.
Interesting that all these undisclosed things are coming out, but I do like the sound of a 4th round pick, especially next year, 2019. But man, after all the time and money we invested in him, it seems like we kind of got nothing for our dollars. But I guess that's the sunk cost bias kicking in.
Well, and then this becomes the question now, like who's playing safety? Because right now they don't have a plan.
Oh, that's a good question.
They really haven't had any faith in Jones to get back in there. So is Jones going to now have to step up his game and really rise to the occasion? Or are we going to be out on the market looking for a safety on the waiver wire or something else? Because we can't trade for one now. So the only way to pick him up is, of course, off of waivers. Somebody that's still sitting out there on the bench that hasn't played all year. It'll be interesting to see what happens there when we come to figuring out what our secondary looks like for New England. Because guess what? Tom Brady likes to pass the ball.
That's the rumor I heard. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, and even though we didn't pick up any other, great like pass rushers or anything like that in the draft, like you said, if somebody can come off the waiver wire, we will certainly look at that, I'm sure.
Also, fullback Joe Carriage, you might remember Joe from a few years ago. He was released from the practice squad while tight end Ethan Wolf was signed to take that spot. And right now that leaves us with a interesting dilemma of what happens with Randall Cobb and Clay Matthews, as they will be the two big discussion points now for the offseason as their contracts come due, and they are also the two most heavy-hitting cap people on the entire roster after Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's a lot of money there between those two guys. So do you keep one? Do you keep both? Do you restructure deals? Do you just let them test the free market? And if nobody picks them up, then you pick them back up on the cheap. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there in the offseason. So that'll be the story to watch as we move through the rest of the season into the playoffs, and if they step up their game to command a higher price or if they just kind of go with the flow. I mean, Clay's had a better year this year. I mean, even though he's gotten flagged, he has had the ability to get in there and get at the quarterback. I mean, he was all over the place in the first quarter of the Rams game. He had those big sacks that get flagged, which really weren't flags. So it's not like Clay hasn't had a bad year, but at the same time, he hasn't been the Clay Matthews of old, right? So does he command a higher salary going into his next contract, or is he kind of plateaued at the price level, I guess is the question.
Yeah, we'll have to find out later on. But I do think that Clay was extra fired up this past weekend, not only being in the game of the week on Fox and being in LA to play the mighty Rams, and on the USC field where he played all of his college ball.
That is very true. That is very true. Randall Cobb, on the other hand, I mean, you got Equimania St. Brown, and you got Scantling, and you got Kumaro when he comes off, and you still got Davis out there. So, I mean, there are people that are behind the line. So, Cobb, you don't have to necessarily re-sign. I think the up-and-coming younger crowd is capable for the Packers. So, if anything, you maybe re-sign Matthews in a restructured deal, and you let Cobb test the free market and then see if he's there afterwards.
Right.
Because we thought Cobb was going to go that last year, and then it was Jordy instead. So,
yeah,
I think we'll just have to wait and see.
That was a bit of a shocker.
But they're still here for now. No trades for Cobb and Matthews. But goodbye to Ty and goodbye to HaHa. It is what it is. I mean, the Ty thing, it's a tough situation, right? I mean, he was really good. He ran really well, and then and then he caught really well, and then he ran really well, and then he got injured, and then he just never quite was the same after the injury season. But he was effective when he was out there. But then when you have people like Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams coming up through the ranks, and those guys are really, really, really good runners, like, do you need three? And then do you need three when you have a head case in the case? And it was shocking because I didn't realize Ty Montgomery was that way at all. But then you read all the reports that came out during this game about, throwing the helmet and stuff. And after you make that decision and ruin it, not just for the 53 guys on your team or the 46 or whatever that suit up each week and the coaching staff, but all 35, 40,000 fans that were there in attendance, plus those watching on TV. I mean, that was heartbreaking to know that he took the ball out of 12's hands where we could have legitimately had a chance to win that game. And then if you take the schedule into account, I mean, we could legitimately be a 6-1 team right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And sitting right there at the number 2 spot. I mean, granted that we haven't played the Saints yet, but we could have been sitting number 2 or number 3, clear control of our destiny, clear control of the division. But unfortunately, the ball just hasn't bounced that way. And earlier this season, it was the refs. I can definitely say after watching the tape back, because clearly it was hard to see at the stadium based on what the stadium wanted to show you on the big board.
Yeah, that was
convenient. Watching it back, the refs got it right. I mean, the catch on the sideline, it looked like it was bobbled. That was a catch. The one catch that looked like it was a trap, his hands were down, so the ball was on top of the hands, even if the back of his hands are still grass. But at least his hands were under the ball, and that's what they saw. So that's why that one stood. And you got to give credit to the Rams special teams. I mean, down in the ball on that half-yard line on that punt. I mean, that was just an amazing, amazing skill play.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of those plays that I think looked even better in person because that Ram came out of nowhere. I almost thought that he had just jumped off the bench and ran over because there's no way that guy could have got all the way down the field, cut around the corner, and down the ball and shattered our dreams and hopes.
And that Ram, I believe, was a former Packers player.
I didn't pay that close attention to who he was.
So, but yeah, we digress. Going through the rest of the injuries really quick. Equimania St. Brown is questionable. And then you have Devon House, who's still out on the injured reserve. Kumaro could return this week. Most likely, if they do reactivate Kumaro, he's going to probably be either on practice squad or come back and do like a 1 week prep before they have to actually put him on the active roster or kill him for the rest of the season, or trade. Well, they can't trade him away, so I guess they just have to outright release him if they don't put him on the active roster. 53.
No, I want Kumaro to stay a Packer. That guy's like magic.
I do too. I think it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do. So they can bring back 2 each year. They haven't brought back any yet, so Kumaro would be the first one that they could tap into. And with Ty being gone, they obviously would be able to put somebody back on the roster. So keep an eye on that through the course of this week to see if Kumaro gets activated to the team.
Exactly. And the Patriots have some injuries. They pretty much all say out indefinitely, week to week. They'll probably all show up and play because that's what the Patriots do.
Yeah, but really, it's really Sonny Mitchell, right? He's the only one that's kind of really the one that has a chance to play, but we'll see if that actually happens. So
yeah, stay tuned. Sunday night, or if you're in the UK and Europe, late Sunday night,
or early Monday morning.
Yeah, whichever way you want to adjust your sleep schedule, and kind of go from there. Now, let's just say that it is always great hearing from the Packers Fan Podcast. G-Force, you too can submit your thoughts into the show in a few ways. First off, give us a call at 920-3PACK-GO or go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback for alternate methods to contact us, just like Art in Texas.
Wayne Troy, Art from Texas. My goodness. Oh, they had it. Man, this is going to hurt all week. I was just getting some info from my brother over some sports news. And that I read also about Montgomery being upset that he had been benched the play before, and he was like, I guess, slamming his helmet on the sideline, and then after that, this happens and the kick return. After he had already been told to kneel the ball, he took it upon himself to bring the ball out, and then he fumbled. I don't think he would do it on purpose, would he? I don't think so. I mean, maybe he was just trying to, I don't know, be the hero of the game or something. But also, what do you guys think about that call when they were pinned at their own 1 yard line? Jair Alexander, wow, what a game. Blake Martinez, what a game. The whole defense are tremendous. I don't know, the offense, they were a little sluggish, but they had it. But you know what? It's very, very promising going forward. Here we go next weekend. Let's see what happens. Hopefully they can carry that momentum, and that, man, they played tremendous. Go Pack, go. Green and gold till I'm dead and cold. Ow!
Art, thanks so much, man. We already talked about a little bit about some of the comments, but I think the big thing with Ty is that you just have to take it and understand that things are going to happen that are going to be frustrating, whether that's a job or your family or whatever, and you might get yelled at, you might get scolded, but at the same time, the reason why they're doing that is because it's to make you a better person overall, and you have to understand that and do what you're told. And he didn't do what he was told, and he made some comments on his way out of town today that he was like, well, I thought I was maybe on the goal line or a half a yard out, and I didn't want to kneel down, and then realize I wasn't in the end zone, blah, 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 blah. You look at the tape, that wasn't the case. I mean, he literally where he was standing, he actually takes 2 steps back to regauge the ball. Then he leans forward to start to actually get like a running start to catch it. So he was legitimately coming out of the end zone, whether he made up his mind. So it wasn't about trying to figure out where he actually was when the ball was caught. So sadly, that's all on Ty. He's not here anymore. Good reason for it too, because I think it'd be a hostile working condition for him to stay on the team after that game.
Oh, absolutely. So it's just one of those things, like you said, and Art, so good to hear from you, and bringing up the great point about Blake Martinez and pretty much the entire defense for at least half the game. The first quarter and the fourth quarter, like you said, did a great job. And then after the news broke this afternoon, we got another brief phone call here from Art, who dialed us in at 920-3PACK-GO.
Hey, Wayne, Troy. Art again from Texas. Sorry, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I guess you guys know by now Montgomery was traded to the Ravens, but for a seventh pick in the 2020 draft, I don't know if you got to. I don't know. I just think Montgomery was worth a little more than that. You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
Art, thanks again for giving us a call. And I totally agree. Like Troy mentioned, it's almost just like being cut, because a 7th round pick, not worth all that much after all we put into Ty Montgomery, but we kind of had to cut our losses. And on the plus side, maybe Gutekunst can parlay that 7th, combine it with a 5th, and turn it into a 4th, or we'll have to wait and see. But
it is no disrespect to Mama Montgomery or the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics in any way, shape, or form. But when you think about the situation, to get at least a 7th round pick, I think is a bonus, because no matter what, today, Ty Montgomery was going to be gone from the Packers. Let's be clear. There was no way Aaron Rodgers had anything to say about it. I mean, in Aaron Rodgers' press conference alone, 3 times specifically, he said, we just didn't have the opportunity to have the ball to score again. When Aaron Rodgers emphasizes that point 3 times, you know that Ty Montgomery isn't going to be in town much longer. So the fact that we got a 7th round pick for him, I think, is actually great, because everybody in the entire NFL world knew that Ty Montgomery was up for sale. And when everybody knows he's up for sale, you're not going to get a lot for that. Supply and demand,
that's a good
all that
point.
Good stuff. So the fact that we got something for him, I think is a bonus, because honestly, I really thought he was going to just be on the waivers today.
That's a good point. I didn't look at it that way. That after that game and all the stuff that started coming out, every team in the NFL, not just us Packers fans, every team knew that something was going to go down.
So the bonus of that is good for Ty. Ty, at least he's a good player. We know that he can produce. The Ravens don't have an established running game so much. I mean, Collins does a pretty good job for the Ravens, but the Ravens aren't a force to be reckoned with. Maybe this is a good thing for Ty. It's a new atmosphere. It's a new lease on life. He gets a chance to be a featured back instead of a rotation with 3 people. So I have no ill will against Ty Montgomery. I think he's done a great job for the organization. It's just an unfortunate situation. It's a bad mistake. People learn from mistakes, and people grow because of their mistakes. And everybody deserves a second chance. This is Ty's second chance. Hopefully great things can happen for Ty in the future out there in Baltimore.
Hey guys, it's Andre in LA. As always, go Pack go. I thought about it. Rather than wallow in a very, very tough loss today, and I can harp on McCarthy's bumbling or Ty Montgomery again costing Aaron Rodgers a possible great upset. I want to talk about how I just had so much fun this weekend. I love the Packers tailgate I went to this morning. I love the Packers pep rally at Tom Urban's last night. I mean, I live in LA. It's the first time I actually got to come close to seeing the Packers live. It was great meeting a lot of Packer fans. I just had a great overall weekend. It was a tough way to see the team lose, especially the defense played so well. They showed up in big moments. The offense was consistently moving the ball. They finally let Aaron Jones run the ball. It was really a hard way to lose. Very impressed with what I saw from the defense. Hopefully they play like that next week, and we can upset the Patriots. But we're going to need a lot of things to fall our way. Thankfully, our division is struggling this year, so just want to hear your thoughts. I know everyone's going to be upset at the loss. Hopefully, people in LA call to talk about how much fun they had this weekend in meeting the other Pack fans. Love the podcast. Green and gold till I'm dead and cold.
Andre, thank you for giving us a call, and there you have it, letting us know how much fun you had hanging out with the other Packers fans this past weekend. And we need to move forward, get ready for the Patriots. And I think the Saints will probably learn a few things from watching the Packers almost beat the Rams. And I think the Saints are going to take it to the Rams this week. And hopefully the Packers will take it to the Patriots, and all will be well. But it's always good to hear from you, Andre. Greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it was a bummer that we couldn't get into the SoCal Packer Backers tailgate. I think is the one that Andre went to, and that was only because we just didn't know that we had tickets that we had to buy. So we bought the game tickets so long ago that we forgot about the tailgate. But so sorry, Andre, that we didn't get a chance to hook up with you over the weekend. I know next time, hopefully next year, if the Chargers are playing, we can go ahead and maybe make something happen there to meet up with you, Andre, as well.
Hey, Wayne here, cutting in the middle of the show, just to let you know that after Troy and I were finished recording, Troy had gone to bed. It was already midnight in the Central Time Zone, and we were finishing up the last bits of the podcast, getting it ready to publish, and we got one more voicemail that absolutely has to be included in this week's podcast. This is from Steve, the owner, Tate, that we were talking about meeting, that was sitting right in front of us, and we talked about him earlier in the game. Well, he called in with this very special voicemail. Be sure to listen to the entire thing because it's awesome.
Hey, Wayne and Troy and Packer Fan Podcast. Steve, the owner, Tate, you're calling in, and just like to recap a few things. First of all, LA was fun and all that, and the venue was great outside. The tailgate, everyone was friendly, had no problems or issues with any of the fans there, the Ram fans, and of course the Packer fans turned out in droves. It was repeatedly been stated as Lambeau West. It was really cool being in the game. Usually I get to all the home games, and at best there's usually from week in, week out on the visitor side where I sit, 10 of us that I know regularly. And here, there were 30 people in our section alone that I knew. And then I got to meet you two and meet others, and it was really cool being on a road game and having the Go Pack Go going and D chant when we were on D and just really making it noisy for their team, and they're having to call timeouts for it. So it was just a lot of fun, good atmosphere. And we're Packer fans, man. It's just so cool to be, impact in a positive way for our team, but still be friendly. And there were other Ram fans dispersed amongst us, and just good camaraderie, good competition. But we got to know, when passion and desire and love for the game and love for our team and the competition, and yeah, we can have hurt feelings, and yeah, we can be disappointed. But when we start getting really negative or mean or threatening, that's going too far. And I'll tell you, I'm really sad by some of the posts I've seen from the Packer family to Ty. I've met Ty. Ty's a good man. He does a lot in our community, and he's did a lot of things. And as it's played out now, he's traded. And, man, I really feel for his family and feel for that uprooting. Yes, it was hard for us to lose the game, and, yeah, it could have been different, but there's a lot of things in that game that could have been different. So, we just still got to be mature and show some professionalism as fans when things don't go our way. Of all things, when I get off the plane coming back from L.A. tonight, and it got delayed a little over an hour, as I'm walking down the ramp, I can see Ty Montgomery walking. And I walked over to him, and I said, "Hi, Ty." And he was, he's got a lot going on, and he's got a lot of changes, and uprooting his family and all that. And I just said, "Ty, I appreciate you, and I thank you for what you've done for the Packers and the Packer family. And I'm really sorry for some of the things that you've taken on here from some of us fans, and definitely how this is uprooting your family, and I wish them all the best." I don't know how our paths crossed that way. It was really one of those really odd moments, but man, we got to encourage each other when things are down too. So, dang, we got to just think, this guy's got to know uproot his family, is their relationships, their connections, their stuff to the family and the community, and move across the country now and reestablish. Here it is, 8:30 at night. He's heading to Baltimore. So, anyhow, tough loss. We'll get it back. We're starting to roll. Wish Ty the best. Wish Packers the best. Making some moves. Team's coming together. And go Pack, go!
Go Pack Go indeed, Steve. Thank you so very much for sending that in. We had to include it in the show. We know you've been traveling, so no worries on getting it to us just under the wire, but this had to be included. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for your positive thoughts and positive words. And thanks so much for sharing the story of meeting Ty Montgomery again at the airport. The circumstances, not the best, but I'm glad that you were able to speak to him and share some great things with him. So thank you again, Steve. Hope to see you at Lambeau Field, or if that game does happen in LA against the Chargers next year, if you make it back out, we will see you again. You're pretty easy to spot. Thanks again, and go Pack Go.
Now, this week's Monday Twitter poll, as well as
on our Packers Fan Podcast Community Facebook group was kind of, laying it out there. Should the Packers make some cuts and or trades before the trade deadline, which is now passed? 87% of the voters said yes, definitely. 7% voted, I'm not sure if we should make some trades. And 6% said no, stay the course.
So we were so angry, like speechless, like the whole section, like no words.
Well, plus our voices were shot from chanting "Go Pack Go" so loudly so that people on TV could hear that. Why am I hearing "Go Pack Go" in the games in LA? Something's wrong. No, something's right.
It was amazing. It was amazing listening back to the broadcast. It really was.
And I knew it was going to happen as soon as the Rams moved back to LA, or even when they announced they were moving back to LA. I knew that in a couple of years' time, the rotation should bring the Packers to LA. And if it didn't get moved to London, it'd be in LA, and about half the crowd would be green and gold, just as foretold. Now, regarding the poll on Facebook, Andy Arias said, I'd say try to get a pass rusher if it's reasonable. Otherwise, just everybody we have right now needs to step up.
Step up big, because it's, that Seattle game. Ooh, scary. Mm-hmm. All right. Caleb checked in and said, hey, Caleb Fisher, Lorna LaPointe, and Mary Herkmas, and Diane Owens. The team is growing up there. It's going to soon be the Northern Wisconsin Green Bay Packer backers. Greetings from Green Bay, and what a heartbreaker we had against the Rams. Can't believe what the Packers just went through. We can't believe Ty Montgomery didn't kneel the ball down in the end zone. We had a chance to win the game, but no. We had to give the game away, just like we did all year, and it was disgusting how we lost that game. I hope we can get past this and start winning again. Until next time, go Pack Go, bleed green and cold till dead and cold. Caleb Fisher and company up there in northern Wisconsin.
And Caleb, go ahead and start counting on the winning starting very, very soon. Great to hear from you. Also heard from Stephen, Wayne, and Troy. Stephen checking in, as always, from Palos Park, Illinois. And while I didn't think we'd be able to beat the Rams, even despite Wayne telling me on Facebook that the Rams were banged up and we might have a chance to beat them, we lost 2 points. I was surprised and happy to see us get the lead first off. Yeah, like you alluded to earlier, Troy, 10-0 at one point. I was getting all kinds of giddy.
All kinds of giddy.
I didn't care that I had to put on more sunscreen or anything.
And then it became 10-8, and the Rams got the ball 2 times in a row. And I was like, what the hell's going on out there?
Yeah, it was just one of those things. The worst part about today was that the Chicago Bears won. So that means happy Bears fans around here for a week.
Like they were going to lose that game. Let's be clear.
Hey, I was rooting for them to lose.
There's no way they were going to lose that game.
Steven says, I liked on the podcast that Troy mentioned that he would have to mime at the game since he was going to be on TV the next day and had to save his voice and have plenty of sunscreen on. And I tried to pick up the slack, and we all had lots of sunscreen on. How about that crazy sports day in LA? And I bet you would not have believed that all those things were going to come together and happen when the Packers schedule first came out last April. That's a big 10-4 right there, Steven. There's no way.
That's probably why there was nobody at the game, and we had to fill up the stadium for them because they were all at the Kings game and the Dodgers game and the soccer game and
the half marathon. And even with all that, I can guarantee that the beaches and Disneyland were still packed to the gills. There's just that many people. So many. Steven says, now let's look ahead to next week's game against Brady and the overrated New England Patriots. Yes, you read that right. Yeah, see, it's not just Wayne saying this. I'm reading this right here. I told you, Wayne, to bring us home a win, not a 2-point loss. That's my bad. I tried. So, Wayne and Troy, think very carefully, Wayne, when you make your predictions on the Patriots-Packers game later in this episode. I do see...
I just want to call out right now that Gurley gets that touchdown. I'm pretty darn close on my prediction on exactly how it was going to happen. You can go back to the tape. It said Green Bay is going to be winning, and the Rams are going to get the ball last, and they're going to score a touchdown. And if he would have gone in, it would have been right on the money, pretty much.
Or if we hadn't had that Ty Montgomery fumble and Aaron Rodgers marched down the field and got a touchdown to win the game, my prediction. Correct. Yeah, so we tried. We were
very close this week. Very close.
We have already thought very hard about our predictions that are coming up later. Steven wraps up by saying, I was surprised to see that the Rams got their first points via safety to make it 10-2. Then I saw it 10-8. I thought my glasses were dirty. Yeah, I thought something was wrong as well, Steven. It's sort of funny how we lost to the Oakland Raiders in preseason and now they're 1-6. Would we have been better off going against them in the regular season and not the preseason?
I don't make the schedule. The schedule's already predetermined.
Predetermined, but we would have beat the Raiders either way. Poor Jordy. Right now, looks to me like the Green Bay Packers are throwing this season away and that Mike McCarthy is trying to coach his way out of a job on New Year's Eve.
No.
Though I have already seen early rumors like the Browns are probably keeping an eye on Mike McCarthy in case the Packers let him go. Don't count on it, Browns. I don't think he's coming your way.
Again. Take the refs out of the equation and get rid of AstroTurf, and the Packers are a 6-1 team.
Amen to that.
Just keep that in the back of your mind. The Washington game was a loss, but we could have beat Detroit, we could have beat the Rams, and we could have beat the Vikings very easily. So it's a 6-1 team in my book. So I have no doubts we can hang the rest of the way. All we have to do is win the North, which is easy to do because we were only a half a game out of first place. And we play all of those teams again.
And that's the good thing about the playoff system as it is right now. We focus on winning the NFC North, then we get to play anybody, and then it's a whole new fresh season. All we have to do is win. So Steven finishes by saying, I'm going to say right now, it doesn't look good that we'll be seeing the playoffs this season. Oh, Steven, our season will be over come December 30th, but there's always hope that I will be wrong. And Steven, yes, I have plenty of hope that you're going to be wrong on that one, my friend.
I know you're going to be wrong because we're not losing on the playoffs and getting knocked out on my birthday.
Nope.
Ain't going to happen.
Nope. We have to celebrate the Heinritz birthdays in fine style, man.
That is right. Absolutely.
And in the Facebook community group at PackersCommunity.com, while we were walking to the game, driving to the game, wandering around, trying to find our seats and work our way around the Coliseum, Troy, you did post some Facebook Live videos that are still there in the group. Be sure to check them out, even though it's after the fact. We had a lot of fun. Yeah,
we sure did. It was a great trip. Great trip.
There's also more great discussions in PackersCommunity.com. Like Jay Walters found that OC article that is from the Register, and we will have that linked in the show notes. So thanks to Jay for sending that to us. More articles about Ty Montgomery, belaboring everything that went down a couple of days ago. Also press conference video clips of McCarthy and that new guy, Rodgers. He's got a future. And more. All at PackersCommunity.com.
Well, Willie Wood was number 24, and number 24 just is that much greater than number 23, which is Michael Jordan and LeBron James's number. So when you're talking about the greatest of all time, Willie Wood clearly is that person. And as far as MVPs go, Bryant is definitely our GOAT for supporting the Packers Fan Podcast in Patreon. That's right. Patreon, patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast or PackersFanPodcast.com/support. You too can be at the Willie Wood $24 a month level, just like Bryant. Get yourself a t-shirt and the ability to say Go Pack Go at the end of the episode. Thanks so much, Bryant. Really appreciate it.
And speaking of Go Pack Goes, you're going to be hearing the Texas-only Green Bay Packers Fanatics Facebook group with their Go Pack Go at the end of the episode for supporting the Packers Fan Podcast on Patreon at the $12 a month Aaron Rodgers support level. Thank you so much, Texas-only Green Bay Packers Fanatics. Go Pack Go.
And supporting us at the Brett Favre $4 monthly level, our $4 pledge dedicated to lifelong Packer backer Randy Westgame of Wausau, and Jeff Summerfield also checking in. Thanks so much, guys, for keeping the podcast going.
And at the Curly Lambeau $1 a month supporters, we thank you, Velvet Eau Claire, Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts, and Aaron Peterson from the Hollywood Outsider, which I got to meet for about 65 seconds Sunday night.
You too can help make us even better here at the Packers Fan Podcast by going to Patreon, patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast or PackersFanPodcast.com/support. Click the giant P button when you see it on the website. Give us $1, $4, $12, whatever you want to give, or you can go all the way up to $92 at the Reggie White level and secure your ticket to a 2019 contest with me and maybe Wayne if he comes in for that contest. So definitely check that out. Really, really great time had by all. So make sure that you do your job to keep the podcast going over at PackersFanPodcast.com/support. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So thanks again to Aaron, Hank, the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics, Bryant, Randy, Jeff, and Velvet for your awesome Patreon support of your Packers Fan Podcast.
With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the NFC North and what happened around the rest of the division on Sunday. Golden Tate, can you believe it, is no more after being one of the best receivers in Lions history. Golden Tate will be moving on to the Eagles, while Marvin Jones got a little bit of a restructured deal. So this makes Jones and Galladay their clear 1 and 2 targets for Matthew Stafford. And this also gives Golden Tate new life on my fantasy team in Philly, because I had to pick between all three of these guys because for some reason I like the Lions, apparently. As for the game, even with acquiring run-stuffing defensive tackle Damon Snacks Harrison from the New York Giants, there was little he could do to aid in stopping Chris Carson from the Seahawks, who went for 105 and a late fourth quarter touchdown to put the game out of reach for Stafford and the Lions. Not to mention that Wilson had a almost perfect quarterback rating. I think he actually did have a perfect quarterback rating in this game. So the fourth place Kittens will play against our rivals in the Vikings for the early game on Sunday. So you can watch that while you wait for Sunday Night Football. But man, oh man, did the Seahawks look good in this game. I'm a little nervous. Then the Chicago Bears. Sadly, the absence of Khalil Mack won't matter right now because the Bears are in the soft part of their schedule. They beat up on the Jets this past weekend, and the Bills are coming up on Sunday at noon. The benefit of the Bills game is that there will be a new quarterback at the helm, so stranger things have happened, but I wouldn't count on it. The defense is still the talk of the Midway in Bears country, as Mitch had an up-and-down game once again, but still productive, and it's still running back by committee, which is good for the Bears and bad for fantasy owners of Howard, like me. Why do I have all of the other team members on my fantasy team?
I've had that question all season.
Ugh. Kings of the North, they are not, and what may have been a pick to lead the NFC, the Saints said, no way, Jose. The Saints defense was on fire against the weak O-line of the Vikings and made Kirk Cousins look silly. The Vikings are literally one injury away from throwing in the towel because without Thielen in the lineup, this team takes a nosedive fast. As mentioned, the Vikes are taking on the Kitties at noon on Sunday.
That'd be a good game to have a tie.
It would be really nice to have a tie because two ties equal a loss.
Woo!
For more details and information, be sure to check out the podcast show notes at PackersFanPodcast.com/166 because it is time to have the debate finally, thanks to Michael Jordan and some awesome NBC press marketing. Holy crap, was that an awesome promo? We'll have a link to it, obviously, in the show notes over at PackersFanPodcast.com/166. I love LeBron James's comment after that promo aired. I think that's probably the best thing from Twitter all year.
Yeah, throwing a little shade, getting in on the action.
Well, the greatest of all time will play Tom Brady, and it's pretty much the same game plan, I guess, for the Patriots as it is for the Rams. Control the clock, run the ball, keep the Patriots offense on the sideline because Brady with the ball is scary. Patriots defense, not so good. I mean, they lost to the Jags, manhandled by the Lions, both teams that are now literally on the decline. So if those teams can beat the Patriots, there's no reason why the Packers that can hang with the Los Angeles Rams, they should be able to beat the Patriots just as easily.
Well, heck, last night watching the Bills-Patriots game, even though in the end the Patriots rolled up a couple of scores right at the end to win it, the Bills were hanging tough through 3 quarters of that game, and they were supposed to be just blown out. So...
Yeah, the thing there is that that's a division game, so you expect it to be somewhat close.
Yeah,
but it is the Bills. I mean, the Bills. We shut the Bills out. Come on. And a game that the offense wasn't doing so well, according to Aaron Rodgers.
And they almost beat the Patriots, so we'll see.
We'll see. The biggest thing, though, is hold Brady to less than 219 yards of total offense.
Please.
You're like, Troy, that was very specific. What does that have to do with anything? Well, Tom Brady needs 3 yards rushing to reach 1,000 yards rushing on his career. And if he gets 219 yards of total offense against the Packers, passing, rushing, or receiving, Tom Brady will reach 80,000 total yards in his career both regular and postseason, and he will become the first player ever to reach that mark. And so I really don't want to have to listen to Patriots fans like celebrate that on Sunday Night Football, national audience, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to hold the Patriots to 200 yards of offense this week.
Yeah, I may still be live tweeting during the Packers game Sunday night, but I'm not going to be looking at any comments because I don't need to hear anything from any Patriots fans, win or lose. I'm just saying.
That's right.
I don't need to hear them.
Even you, Jen Briney, in case you're listening.
Just saying. Don't need to hear about the Patriots. Nobody does. It's good for America if they lose Sunday night to the Packers. Well, let's check in and see what's going on with the official Green Bay Packers dope sheet. They put out a huge edition this week for Packers at Patriots, and we will link to that full thing because it's like a mini series in itself at PackersFanPodcast.com/167. Well, the 3-3-1 Green Bay Packers are flying to New England to play the 6-2 Patriots. That alone is disturbing. The Packers and Patriots have split the last two matchups, with both teams winning at home and the games being decided by a combined 9 points. So
Nice.
If history rolls on, it's going to be close. Heart attack medication nearby. The all-time regular series is tied at 5-5, while the Packers won the only postseason matchup, a 35-21 victory in Super Bowl 31. Go Pack, go! Thank you, Brett Favre.
I don't think Brady was actually quarterbacking at that time. It was the other guy.
Bledsoe.
Yeah, that's a shame because then we could truly say Rodgers beat Brady in a Super Bowl, so that makes him the GOAT. Very
then
easily,
we would say
hands
that
down.
Favre beat Brady in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. Son of a gun.
Man, we just had to win Sunday.
So confusing. So confusing.
That's what happens when you have only two quarterbacks for the last 25 years.
Oh, I thought it was the food poisoning from those bacon-wrapped hot dogs.
Oh, Troy. This week will be a matchup of two head coaches who have the best and third best regular season winning percentages among active NFL coaches with a minimum of 50 games. But
everybody wants to fire McCarthy. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Third best, people. The two previous times the Packers have suffered a loss this season, they have bounced back to win the next game.
You play to win the game.
That's what we're going to do. And notable connections, none really this week because I hate the Patriots.
Voting comes up really quickly here, doesn't it? After the game. So is there a way to vote the Patriots out of the NFL?
Ooh, I like that. What league should we send them to?
Just out. It's like when you vote for judges. So when you go to your local polls and you remember to vote, because you should vote in this midterm election. It's super, super important. But you can actually go to your polls, and if there's a judge in your local district that you don't want to retain, then you don't vote for them. It's not like when you vote, you're just saying, oh, nobody's running against him. They're going to win anyway. A no vote is actually a better vote if you don't want the judge to stay on the seat. So that's what we're saying. Just don't vote for the Patriots, and then they'll be out of the league, period. No AFL, no Australian football, nothing. Just out completely.
No CFL, no XFL.
Go away.
Not even NBA, NHL?
No. Just
Okay.
gone.
Well, earlier in this episode, we talked about how, depending on whether or not the Packers scored at the end of that game, Troy would have been very close to correct on his prediction. Otherwise, I could have been very close to correct if the Packers had gone ahead and scored and won. So,
but I
what do
did
you
pick
think?
the Packers score correctly. So I said Packers 27. So I guess that makes me up first.
Let's give it to you. Let's see. I'm almost afraid to ask. Now, like Steven said, think carefully before you make your predictions. So I'm sitting down. What do you see happening Sunday night?
Well, it is out there at Gillette Stadium. So the Packers are getting 6 points from the New England Patriots. That's about what the Rams game was. Even though it opened at 10, it settled in about 6 points. Hence why everybody's all pissed off that Gurley didn't run the touchdown in. And it's about 56.5 right now for the over-under. So I am going to take the over. And I'm going to go Packers 31, Patriots 27. That's a W, people. I'm picking a W this week.
Go Pack, go Troy. Go Pack, go.
Aaron has to win on a Sunday night. Come on, it just has to happen.
Heck, I'm going to go over on the over by a few more points than even you, Troy.
Ooh.
I'm picking the Patriots to get the 31, not the Packers. And the Packers are getting 34. So we will win by 3, but we will win and we will take it and be happy.
I like it.
34-31. And game time weather in Foxborough. Why aren't they the Foxborough Patriots? I don't know. The game time weather is going to be almost the same as it was in LA this past weekend. Well, I kid. It's going to be 45 degrees.
If it was in Celsius, maybe.
Yeah, if you convert it, carry the 2.
1 plus
it's going to be
1
about
plus
40. It's going to be about 45 degrees at kickoff and clear. So no chance of rain, at least as of this recording, but it's going to be chilly. Basically, it's going to be football weather, Troy. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. Looking forward to it. Fall is here. That means running games will abound. Can't wait to see Aaron Jones rip off 2 touchdowns this week. That will be fantastic. And we can say adieu for another week here at the Packers Fan Podcast, which is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. Did not get to shake Mark Murphy's hand over the weekend. But if we would have told him, hey, Mark, can we be the official team? Just go to media@PackersFanPodcast.com and let us know if we can.
And this weekend, I'd like to see Jimmy Graham get both butt cheeks down in the end zone and get a touchdown himself. And I want you to follow us on Twitter @PackersFanPod. And my personal account on Twitter, I'm @Wayne Henderson.
And me, I'm @Troy Heinritz. Be sure to join the Packers Fan Podcast community to see all of the fun and events from this past weekend in LA. Just go to PackersCommunity.com and that'll take you right over there to join in on the conversation.
And we want to hear your conversations on the next episode. So go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback to get your thoughts in. Let your voice be heard. Be part of the next episode of the podcast. Thanks again for listening to this one.
Make sure you subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or download our free apps for iOS and Android so you do not miss an episode. We are going to settle this debate once and for all. Who is the greatest of all time? It's going to be Sunday night. It's going to be awesome, and we are going to get pumped up by the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics. Take it away.
Hey, Wayne and Troy and Packer Nation. This is Dawn down here in Texas, a.k.a. Granny Cheese, and we have something to say.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
Hi, I'm Susan.
Hi, I'm Carrie.
Hi, I'm Lisa Montgomery, proud mom of number 88, Ty Montgomery, and we want to say,
Go Pack, go!